Throughout history, women have made significant contributions to various fields, yet their achievements often go unrecognized or are mistakenly credited to men. This phenomenon highlights an inherent bias in society that has perpetuated the erasure and undervaluation of women's accomplishments. From groundbreaking inventions to pioneering scientific discoveries, this video will shed light on some remarkable creations that were invented by women but have been wrongly attributed to their male counterparts. By delving into these stories, we hope to rectify the historical oversight and celebrate the remarkable contributions of women throughout the ages. 1. Wi-Fi. Hedy Lamarr, a Hollywood actress from the early 20th century, is credited with the initial concept of Wi-Fi, although her contributions were largely unrecognized during her lifetime. In the late 1930s, Hedy Lamarr came up with the idea of frequency hopping, as a means to prevent radio signals from being intercepted by enemies during World War II. Aware of the need for secure communications for the war effort, Lamarr collaborated with composer George Antheil to develop a patent for an invention known as the secret communication system. Unfortunately, Lamarr's groundbreaking contribution largely went unnoticed and unacknowledged until much later. Her patent was granted in 1941, but it was not until the late 1990s that she began receiving recognition for her remarkable invention. By that time, her concept had evolved into what we now know as Wi-Fi technology. The credit for Wi-Fi's development, however, is often given to a man named Dr. John O'Sullivan, an Australian engineer who led the team that developed the technology behind Wi-Fi in the 1990s. O'Sullivan and his team were tasked with finding a way to transmit data wirelessly over long distances, and they used a version of Lamarr's frequency hopping concept as a basis for their work. 2. Monopoly. Elizabeth McGee was a strong and creative woman who wanted to teach important lessons about economics and the dangers of monopolies. She came up with the idea for the game as a way to educate people about these issues in a fun and entertaining way. Her original game was called The Landlord's Game, and it had a lot of similarities to the Monopoly we know today. Players could buy properties, collect rent, and even go to jail. Elizabeth even included some of the familiar elements like the go, and free parking spaces. Unfortunately, even though Elizabeth McGee was the creator of this game, she did not get the recognition she deserved. A man named Charles Darrow saw her game and decided to make his own version of it. He changed a few things, gave it a new name, and started selling it. 3. Dishwasher. Josephine Cochran was an American inventor and entrepreneur who lived during the late 19th century. She hailed from a wealthy family and was accustomed to hosting lavish dinner parties. However, she grew frustrated with the way her fine china and delicate glassware were frequently chipped or damaged by the harsh manual washing methods of the time. Determined to find a solution, Cochran set out to create a machine that could wash dishes efficiently without causing any harm to them. In 1886, Josephine Cochran unveiled her invention, which she called the Cochran dishwasher. It was a revolutionary device that used water pressure to clean dishes, and it featured a rack system to hold the dishes securely in place. Cochran's dishwasher was not only effective but also a time saver, reducing the labor-intensive task of hand-washing dishes. Despite her groundbreaking achievement, Josephine Cochran faced significant challenges in getting her invention recognized and accepted. It wasn't until years later, in the early 20th century, that a man named Joel Houghton received a patent for a dishwasher-like device. However, Houghton's invention was significantly less effective and practical than Cochran's. Yet, his name is sometimes mistakenly associated with the dishwasher's invention due to the patent system's complexities and the lack of recognition for Josephine Cochran's pioneering work. 4. Refrigerator. Florence Parpart was an American inventor who lived during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. In 1914, she was granted a patent for her design of a modern electric refrigerator. Her invention was a significant leap forward in household technology, as it was one of the earliest models to use electricity for cooling purposes. Despite Florence Parpart's groundbreaking work, her contribution to the invention of the refrigerator remains largely unrecognized in mainstream history. Instead, the credit for the invention of the refrigerator often goes to men like Carl von Linde, who developed the first practical refrigerator using the principles of gas refrigeration in the late 19th century. 5. Alphabet blocks. In the early 19th century, a remarkable woman named Adeline Whitney conceived the idea for what would eventually become alphabet blocks. Born in 1824 in Massachusetts, Whitney was a teacher who had a deep passion for early childhood education. Around the mid-1800s, Whitney began working on a set of wooden blocks, each featuring a different letter of the alphabet. She envisioned children using these blocks to play, build, and most importantly, learn their letters in an enjoyable and engaging way. Despite her groundbreaking invention and patent, history has often credited the creation of alphabet blocks to a man named Milton Bradley. Bradley was indeed a notable figure in the toy industry, and he did contribute to popularizing the blocks later on. However, it's essential to acknowledge that the foundation of alphabet blocks was firmly laid by Adeline Whitney. 6. DNA structure. Rosalind Franklin was a brilliant and accomplished chemist and X-ray crystallographer. In the early 1950s, she was conducting groundbreaking research on the structure of DNA at King's College London. Through her meticulous experiments and analysis, Franklin captured the now famous photograph 51, an X-ray image that revealed the helical structure of DNA. Franklin's data and interpretation of the X-ray diffraction images were crucial in providing essential insights into the structure of DNA. However, the story takes a troubling turn when it comes to the recognition of Franklin's contributions. James Watson and Francis Crick, who were working independently at the time, were given access to Franklin's data without her knowledge or consent. In 1953, Watson and Crick famously published their groundbreaking paper on the structure of DNA in the journal Nature, without giving proper credit to Rosalind Franklin's work. It was only in later years that Rosalind Franklin's contributions began to receive the recognition they deserved. 7. Windshield wipers. The woman behind this groundbreaking invention was Mary Anderson, an Alabama native. In 1903, she was visiting New York City, where she observed a problem that many drivers faced during inclement weather: the inability to maintain a clear view of the road when rain, snow, or sleet splattered across their vehicle's windshield. Anderson, an astute observer and problem solver, was determined to find a solution. Mary Anderson envisioned a manually operated device consisting of a lever inside the vehicle that could be used to move a rubber blade back and forth across the windshield. She took her idea and submitted a patent application for the windshield wiper on June 18, 1903. The credit for the invention of windshield wipers eventually went to a man named J. H. Apjohn, who received a patent in 1917 for a more complicated and less effective version of the windshield wiper system. It wasn't until decades later that Mary Anderson's contributions to automotive safety were acknowledged. 8. Computer programming. Ada Lovelace, a mathematician and writer, is the woman whose pioneering work in the mid-19th century laid the foundation for what we now call computer programming. Born in 1815, Ada Lovelace was the daughter of the famous poet Lord Byron. She displayed an early aptitude for mathematics and was tutored by some of the leading mathematicians of her time. In the 1840s, Lovelace collaborated with Charles Babbage, a mathematician and inventor known for his design of the analytical engine, an early mechanical computer. Babbage's machine was revolutionary, but it was Ada Lovelace who recognized its true potential. Ada Lovelace's visionary insights into the potential of the analytical engine laid the groundwork for the concept of computer programming. She recognized that a computer could be a universal tool for solving a wide range of problems, far beyond numerical calculations. Despite her groundbreaking work, Ada Lovelace's contributions were often overlooked during her lifetime, and it was only in the latter half of the 20th century that her work received the recognition it deserved. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.